The Federal and Devaki Specialty Hospital jointly present the Madurai Marathon 2024 Run for Health on Sunday, October 20th, 2024. Entry is free for all.
It's an important day. The Haryana and JNK votes are being counted, and I'm here with my colleague Puneet to have a short discussion on the early trends. Puneet, thank you for joining. Let's start with JNK. Given the complex political history of Jammu and Kashmir, how do you interpret the early trends emerging in?
Trends, of course, are very early. There are still another 10 to 12 rounds of counting that one has to wait for. But as far as these trends are, indicate, there is a very clear sweep by the National Conference in the Kashmir Valley, while the BJP seems to be doing very well in the Jammu region. It's almost as if, these are two separate states that are going to polls, because you see a very different voting pattern, very different emotions on which voting is happening, issues on which voting is happening in Kashmir, vis-a-vis what's happening in, compared to what's happening in Jammu. The Kashmir Valley, where the National Conference is doing very well, it's for the first time since the 90s, since 1996, 99, that the National Conference looks set to cross the 28 seat mark on its own. And I mean, I make that point specifically because after the PDP was founded in 1999 by Mufti Muhammad Saeed, no party in the Kashmir Valley was able to, have a pan-state majority on its own, because within Kashmir, which held the larger chunk of seats, the seats would be fragmented between the National Conference, independents, and the PDP, and also a few here and there of the Congress. This is the first time that we see the National Conference sweeping. Omar Abdullah winning from, leading from both the seats that he was contesting on. His party doing very well in across the regions, South Kashmir, North Kashmir, Central Kashmir, across the regions, doing very well. So clearly the issues, one, it's a very clear anti-BJP vote, and people are voting in the Kashmir Valley for the alliance, which they think was best poised to defeat the BJP. And since the National Conference was contesting on a bulk of seats of the valley as part of the alliance, they are benefiting from that. Jammu is voting on very different lines. There are issues of course, Hindu consolidation. So in the Jammu Plains, you see the BJP doing very well. Jammu Plains, again, Jammu can be divided into three different areas. You have the Jammu Plains, which is completely Hindu majority. You have the Chenab Valley, the Doda district, which has a 50-50% of Muslims and Hindus. And you've got the Rajouri Punch district, which is a Muslim majority district. So in Rajouri Punch, you see the National Conference still and the Congress doing all right. In the Doda Chenab Valley region, you see a mixed result between the Congress, National Conference, and the BJP. But it's the Jammu Plains which constitute the bulk of the seats of Jammu, where the BJP is completely sweeping. Now, it was largely anticipated that, expected that the BJP will not perform well, given the economic crisis in, Jammu, unemployment, ban on the Darbar move and all of that, and also the demands for restoration of statehood to J&K, but that doesn't seem to be hurting the BJP. It's possible largely because the Congress's campaign there did not really take off. And then they had problems with, internal rifts and sabotage and, various other factors, a very poorly run campaign. So the Jammu, while the BJP tried to consolidate behind issues of identity, Hindu identity, Dogra identity, Kashmiri Pandit identity, all of that, that seems to have worked. There has historically been a sense in the Jammu region that they've got a raw deal in the state because the state's politics is controlled by Kashmiri politicians. And that was, again, a message that the BJP constantly, brought up. And in fact, Union Home Minister Amit Shah, while campaigning, made this point that, if the National Conference and the Congress alliance comes to power in the state, people of Jammu will have to go to Kashmir with a begging bowl. So that seems to have worked for the BJP. There is that kind of a consolidation there. So that's, I mean, so as I said, two different regions of the state voting in two completely different ways with two completely different narratives that seem to be guiding the election result.
Puneet, throughout the election coverage, we did a lot of stories on how key issues like statehood and unemployment will shape the voter behavior in the state. And even for the previous question, you touched upon that topic. So, can we please go a little bit deeper and can you please say how these issues, along with others like development and regional autonomy, influence the current trends that we are seeing?
Yeah, so as I said, Kashmir is where you see most of these issues striking a chord with the electorate, as far as the trends show as of now. Statehood was a huge issue in the Kashmir Valley. Unemployment was a huge issue in the Kashmir Valley. There were other issues in across the 47 seats of Kashmir with regard to being treated shoddily by the center after the abrogation of Article 370. The National Conference had promised steps for restoration of Article 370. That struck a chord with people to some extent. I don't know how realistically it's possible to deliver on that promise, but that did strike a chord there. Jammu, while one had expected that statehood, unemployment, civic amenities, the shift of militancy from Kashmir to the Jammu region, all of that will go against the BJP. It seems, as far as the trends right now are concerned, that those issues have not really played out, and the issues in Jammu have largely been reduced to the issue of identity politics, of what the Hindus of Jammu will get if the National Conference and Congress, come to power, and how they might lose out. And so, and mind you, the BJP had also been talking about a chief minister from Jammu, something that has not happened ever since, the state, now the erstwhile state, was formed. The CM has always been from Kashmir, barring, of course, Ghulam Nabi Azad, who one can say was from the Jammu region, but not from the Hindu-dominated Jammu plains, and he was a Muslim leader. So there hasn't been a Hindu chief minister for J&K ever, in all these years. So that was again something with regard to the Hindu identity, and then so as I said, identity politics has taken over in Jammu. Dogra identity, the BJP promised various things to uphold the dignity and the pride of the Dogras. They've promised schemes named after Premnath Dogra, who was one of the most vocal critics of Sheikh Abdullah. Back in the 50s, he was the co-founder of the Praja Parishad, which is credited with the rise of right-wing politics in Jammu. Similarly, the BJP talked about honoring the legacy of Hari Singh, the former ruler, the erstwhile ruler of the J&K princely state, and the Dogra. So they appeal to the Dogra identity, they appeal to Kashmiri Pandits, they appeal to the Hindu identity, and that seemed to have worked. So statehood, ban on Darbar move, all these which largely people thought might go against the BJP were sort of nullified by this identity politics in Jammu.
The Federal and Devaki Specialty Hospital jointly present the Madurai Marathon 2024 Run for Health on Sunday, October 20th, 2024. Entry is free for all.